Welcome to Oregon Cash Flow Pro. My name is James Barber and I'm here to help you maximize your cash flow. Now, there was a comment in one of my videos called Dynamic Banking in Action Updated. I want to read this comment to you and then I want to respond to it because I think there's an important piece of the whole dynamic banking or velocity banking concept that this person was missing. So stick around.
Oregon Cash Flow Pro offers free money management advice to help you take control of your finances. And now here's your host, personal finance enthusiast and licensed insurance broker, James Barber.
Okay, so this is in response to a dynamic banking video that I did a while back, where we went through exactly how dynamic banking works in regards to depositing all of your paycheck and having that offset interest charges in a line of credit, and then using credit cards throughout the month to pay your bills and using the line of credit to pay off the credit cards, etc. So the viewer writes, are you saying you're paying off all credit card balances and utilities each month with the line of credit? If so, why not pay them off first with your monthly income instead of borrowing money and paying interest from the line of credit? If I pay them off each month by the due date, I'm charged 0% interest by the credit card companies. If I use the line of credit to pay them off, I'm being charged the line of credit interest rate of 6.25%. Same with utilities, cable, phone, gas, electric, water, trash, equals $425 to $450 a month for me. Just set them up with monthly bill pay from your checking account instead of paying them manually through the line of credit at 6.25%. 0% beats 6.25% every day! Exclamation points. He goes on. So instead of depositing your entire $5,000 into the line of credit, have your paycheck deposited into your bank or credit union like most people, then pay your credit card balances through the credit card sites having linked your bank's info. Keep enough in your bank to cover your utilities each month, which you can set up as an automatic bill pay. Then deposit what you want into the line of credit. It's not going to be your entire $5,000 anymore, maybe $4,000 or whatever, but still, you're not paying unnecessary interest to pay your credit card and utilities. Now, I appreciate this person leaving this long, thoughtful comment. It was clear that they put a lot of effort into it, and they're trying to understand how this concept works. But he does finish off saying, if I knew how to make YouTube videos using graphics, I would show a much better plan than this video or these other line of credit or velocity videos I've seen. Ridiculous. Okay, so other than the last comment, it's clear that this person is trying to understand these videos and where they're coming from and how they work. And when I read through his comment, he was kind of missing a big piece of the puzzle to the big picture here. And so let's go back through this, and I'm going to address it in three different ways. First, in a simple way regarding cash flow and how math works. Two, no, I don't want to say that because it sounds dismissive, and I don't want to be dismissive. I'll say one, I'm going to show you basically with the numbers why this works and exactly how this works. Two, I'm going to show you why dynamic banking that we're doing works best if you have other debts. And then three, I'm going to show you why it works if you don't have other debts and how to make this work for you to maximize your cash flow. So remember, at the beginning of the video, I said, my name is James Barber and I'm here to help you maximize your cash flow. Now, this scenario that the viewer presented in his comment is fine. There's nothing wrong with putting money into your checking account and paying your bills automatically from your checking account. There's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't maximize your cash flow. This is number one in my explanation. He says, why not pay them off first with your monthly income instead of borrowing money and paying interest from the line of credit? He says, just set them up with a monthly bill pay from your checking account instead of paying them manually. So instead of depositing your $5,000 into your line of credit just have your paycheck deposited into your bank. Okay, so here's number one with where he goes wrong compared to dynamic banking, and where I was talking about how simple math shows that we're going to maximize our cash flow by not doing that. How's your checking account doing? How much are they paying you when your money sits in your checking account each day? So let's say you get your $5,000 and you get it deposited right into your bank account on the first of the month. Your credit card bill may be due on the 10th of the month, okay? So you got $5,000 sitting in your checking account, and now you have it waiting to pay your credit card bill. Let's say your credit card bill is $5,000, okay? Most likely you're not earning anything on that. Most banks don't pay any interest on money that's sitting in a checking account. On the high end, you might see 1% that you might get in a checking account, but it's not very, very likely. It may be somewhere between 0 and 1%. So for 10 days, you're not earning anything by having that money sit in your account. Yes, you didn't pay any interest to the credit card company because you're going to pay it off each month. So you're hopefully getting the rewards from using the credit card. That's good. You should be doing that. But there's 10 days that you have that money sitting idle in your account. And dynamic banking is about not having idle money. It's about cash flow. You want to keep your money moving. Velocity banking, which is the same thing, the reason they call it that is because velocity, they want it to be moving. It's better for you if your money is not sitting idle anywhere. You always want it to be working for you. So if I'm going to take that money, I'm going to put it to work for me. If I'm going to put it against a debt, now I'm offsetting 6.25% interest if I put it into my line of credit that has a balance on it. Okay, so I'm offsetting those interest charges, 6.25%. There's 10 days that I'm offsetting those interest charges. I'm saving money. That's maximizing my cash flow. Now, your situation kind of presumes that you don't have other debts. You just have your regular utility bills and you have a credit card that you charge your regular monthly expenses to, and then you're going to pay it off each month. That's fine. And I'll get to that scenario in just a minute, but let's go through scenario number 2, which I talked about, where dynamic banking works really great for people, and that's people that currently have other debts. So we're not talking about funneling money through a line of credit just for the fun of it, okay? We're actually going to use the line of credit to help reduce our interest charges that we're paying on other debts. It doesn't matter if it's a mortgage, a car loan, credit cards, whatever the case may be. So here's the scenario. We're going to assume it's the first of the month. I'm about to get paid and I have $5,000 in my line of credit available, right? Let's say I have a zero balance in my line of credit. So I take that $5,000 and I put it towards another debt that I have. I can put a $5,000 chunk down on my mortgage. I can put it on my car loan. I can put it on another credit card. Now, as soon as I do that, I'm reducing the amount of interest I'm paying on those bills, regardless of whatever the interest rate is on those. And now I'm paying 6.25% interest on the money I borrowed from the line of credit. Following? This looks like I just transferred money. So if I had a credit card at 22% interest, now I have a credit card with $5,000 less that I'm paying 22% interest, and I'm paying 6.25% interest instead. I'm saving 16% interest right away. If it was my mortgage and I put that $5,000 on it, and let's say I have a 4% mortgage, suddenly I'm trading 4% interest for 6.25% interest. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless you follow along with the rest of what we're doing, which is I'm going to get a paycheck later that day or the next day, and I'm going to pay that $5,000. I'm going to put all $5,000 into my line of credit, bringing it back to zero. Okay, so now I have $5,000 less than I'm paying on the credit card or the mortgage, so I'm saving the interest there. And now my line of credit balance is down to 0 because I just put my whole paycheck into that. Now I actually have to live, so I'm gonna have to spend money, and normally I would do that with my paycheck. So if I just had that money sitting in my checking account, which was what the viewer suggested, the money would just sit there until I had to pay my bills, and it wouldn't be offsetting any interest charges. But with dynamic banking, what we're doing is we have it sitting in the line of credit, and when I need to pay a bill, I'm gonna pay it from the line of credit. So slowly over the course of the month, as I pay my bills, my balance on that line of credit is going to go up. It's gonna go up, 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 up. But that's gonna happen over the course of the next 30 days as I pay my bills. On a line of credit, you pay interest charges on whatever balance you have outstanding each day. So I offset $5,000 of debt over here. My line of credit, I'm paying interest on no debt until I have to pay a bill. So let's say on the 10th of the month, I've got to pay that credit card bill. Now I've got $5,000, I'm going to pay that credit card off. So for 10 days, I had no interest charges that I was paying until I had to pay that off. Now for the rest of the month, I've got another 20 days that I'm going to pay interest of 6.25%. That's 2/3 of the month I'm going to pay a $5,000 balance on 6.25%. So that's going to be about 4%. So I'm saving money if I'm doing above 4% or higher interest rate on another debt that I'm offsetting in this specific scenario. Now, realistically, I'm not going to have a credit card bill that I have to pay off each month that matches my full paycheck. Realistically, I'm going to have offset $5,000 of another debt. And then in my line of credit, it's going to go up, $1,000 when I got to pay off my credit card. And then it's going to go up $450 when I've got to pay my utility bills. And then it's going to go up $700 when I pay my mortgage, or $1,000 when I pay my mortgage. Whatever the case may be, you're going to end up close to what your paycheck is at the end of the month if you don't have much cash flow. But whatever cash flow you had throughout the month was offsetting interest charges that whole month. And so we may save $20, $30, maybe $40 worth of interest in that month just by doing that. That's not a whole lot, but this is about maximizing your cash flow. So that $40 that you saved that month, you can add it on to the $40 you saved the next month, which may turn it into $45 or $50. And these things just continue to add up, and it snowballs and it gets better and better. All of that is money that's going towards paying down your debts. Okay, makes sense? So that's scenario number 2. Now, scenario number 3, let's assume that you don't have any debts to offset. Why would you bother doing dynamic banking? This is where we want to use dynamic banking. Instead of using it to accelerate paying down our debt, we're going to use it to accelerate growing our wealth. So if you don't have any debt to offset, what can you do? One of the things you could do, you could put money in the stock market. You can invest in an infinite banking policy, which is something that we talk about a lot on this channel. And I like a lot, especially with the dynamic banking. So I'm going to use that as an example because I think it's one of the best ways to maximize your cash flows by using an infinite banking policy. So if you don't have any debt, you have a line of credit with 0 balance on it, and you are going to get paid $5,000 a month. What happens if you take your $5,000 out of your line of credit at the beginning of the month? You use that to pay your premiums. You buy paid up additions in an infinite banking policy, and suddenly you're creating cash value in your infinite banking policy that's going to compound for the rest of your life at a 4 to 6% interest rate. Okay, so we took the money from the line of credit, we put it into the infinite banking policy, and now we have an infinite banking policy that's growing at 4 to 6% a year for the rest of our lives. It's going to compound. And we have a line of credit that we're going to be paying 6.25% interest on. Well, I get my paycheck and I pay it off. Now I'm not paying anything. And I'm still earning in the infinite banking policy. Not paying anything and I'm earning until I start to have to pay my bills. Now, when I go to pay my bills, I'm going to pull them out of the line of credit. I'm going to pay some interest on that. Okay? Just like in the other scenario though, we're going to have some money that's left over. We have some cash flow each month and it's going to stay in the line of credit and it's going to reduce the balance of that permanently. But temporarily, we're going to reduce our average daily balance with the paycheck. And there's, again, we may save $20, $30, $40 extra each month by doing that. And we're going to be saving that extra in our infinite banking policy. So our infinite banking policy, all of these savings from dynamic banking, it's going to be growing by that each month more than what it would have had we not been doing dynamic banking and paycheck parking. So the big picture that I think this viewer was missing was that we're not just using this line of credit for the fun of it. We're using it to accelerate paying down debt or to accelerate growing our wealth. We're using it in conjunction with that. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with just using your checking account or your savings account and doing automatic bill pay. You can still do automatic bill pay with a line of credit. And I do that. I do automatic bill pay with my line of credit. But the main focus here is that we offset interest charges either to eliminate other debts or to grow wealth in another product. So I hope that helps. If you want to see some examples of that, check out this video here and this video here where I go into specific plans using dynamic banking. And if you found value in today's video, be sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel so we can continue along on this financial journey together.